Elastos, quick introduction. We are a software stack for the decentralized internet. We're basically a nonprofit. So going back to 2017, 2018, we've been building since then, when we launched the blockchain then, and then we are a multi-chain structure. So we have a main chain called the Elastos main chain that also merge mines with Bitcoin. So one of the coolest things about us is we have over half of the BT hash rate of Bitcoin. So some of the biggest mining pools in the world, like BC.com, BC Top, F2 Pool, they all mine Elastos. So this gives a lot of security in terms of just our base layer. And then all of our other side chains are built on top of it. So we've kind of like simplified the website now. So we have a developer.elastos.org, which you can go to elastos.info, which has more information about Elastos and what we do. And given that, maybe I'll just show the video for all the participants here. Does sound work? Can you guys hear?
No.
Does that work?
No.
No, doesn't? Okay, too bad. But you can go to elastos.info and you can see kind of the video here. So yeah, so elastos.info is kind of our main website. So what you saw back there is our basically our new sort of design that we're building. Second. So what you saw there was a new design. So that's not finalized yet. We're still working on that actually. But Elastos.info is our main website. So Elastos is very much going into this decentralized system. So if you look at our sort of our ecosystem, the way it works is that Elastos Foundation is sort of a nonprofit that oversees everything. They only do the infrastructure development, and then we have a DAO called Cyber Republic, which funds projects, and then teams that work with us to write proposals for Cyber Republic. So you might know lots of DAOs. Hopefully, if you're in the blockchain space for any time, you've heard of all these other DAOs like Metacartel, Marketing DAO, or Karma DAO. They're basically, a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. So Elastos is very much run by the community. In terms of the community, we elect council members that make decisions on proposals and funding. We're actually having a new election coming up very soon, so that should be exciting. Hopefully, if you want to have or participate in a DAO, we're always looking for more people from diverse areas. So we'd love to see some, perhaps an Indian on the council board, and then they actually also earn a bit of money from running this, running what we call as a Cyber Public Council node. And one thing I want to, so this is cyberpublic.org, that's our DAO, so you can go there, and you can see how you can read about Cyber Republic. You can see we have basically a system where people can vote for proposals. So you can see here, they were trying to vote for developing our Hyper Messenger, which is our messaging app, NFT app. Marketing's run through here too. We did some interesting things. We actually burned like 70% of our tokens through a proposal as well. So there was a big proposal to burn our tokens, funding things. Even here, look, this is the Central Hacks hackathon we did last time, was a proposal as well. So interesting, right? So it's kind of a cool thing of doing things. It's a bit slow, but that's a lot of projects are using DAOs sort of to run projects. And if you look at Karma DAO, for example, they use it for investing, things like that. So it's pretty interesting. So our mission basically is we are building a set of services that allow developers to build basically dApps that really protect user data. So one of the problems that we always see is that Google, and not so much Apple now, but Microsoft and a lot of Facebook, for example, for sure, do collect a lot of data without you knowing, and then they use that they monetize that data, and they basically are able to make money off your own data. And projects like Elastos, Brave, have kind of teamed up to really stop that. So like we've joined the Decentralized Identity Foundation, World Economic Forum. We're also part of that. W3C, building we call our identity sidechain, which is a decentralized identity. The whole idea is about self-sovereign identity and ownership of data, so that people have a choice to use applications that protect their own data, and they can actually choose to monetize that themselves or be more anonymous on the web. And that's kind of a thing that I guess is really, people are starting to slowly learn about. It's taking a while, but there's the whole Own Your Data Foundation. I think we've actually started talking to the Own Your Data Foundation, one of our Elastos teams named Tomb. They work pretty hard on this sort of angle, and they've started talking to like Brittany Kaiser, who's one of the people here that is also sort of champion for the same thing. So this is where we would like to see a lot of people focus their efforts, is to build applications, especially from hackathon developers, to build applications that really try to protect your data. And what I mean by that is that instead of putting your data on a Google Cloud server or exposing it and using kind of like a existing like Google account. So when you link your Google account to something, you share that information. I want to maybe contrast with something like Apple ID is actually pretty cool. Apple ID generates an anonymous email every time you log in, so that the website you log into doesn't get your real email. Because what websites do, right, is if you use your Google account on website A and then use it on website B, Google shares your email with them, and then they know you're the same person, and they just basically collect your data. So if you're looking at cars here, and over there you're looking at dresses or wedding dresses, oh, they know you're rich, you're looking for a car, and they also know that you might be getting married soon, right? And they use that to bombard you with ads and things like that, and you start learning probably more about you than you actually know yourself. And that's really important, that we kind of want to be able to take back that data and only share it if we want to. And also, if they're making money off your data, we really believe that that money should be shared with you as well, right? So we're also trying to build these kind of projects, and there's a lot of other projects building this as well. I won't mention them, but what I will mention is probably Brave browser. So if you don't use Brave browser, I actually don't use them either, but it's a really cool start. I wish that they had better support, but once they get better support, I think it's what we're going to see. So it's going to be hard, but I think it's something that Elastos and all these other projects are really striving for. So where we have some main components here, we have the main chain, like I said, that has merge binds of Bitcoin. We have a smart contract chain, we have an identity chain. We have peer-to-peer messaging, which is important because if you don't have centralized servers, there's no one to intercept your data, and then there's nothing to rely on. So if there are certain applications that can just be handled by peer-to-peer messaging, then that's something that you can use with the Elastos protocol. And then we have a storage solution. So like I said, instead of storing your data on the cloud server somewhere or sharing it with other people, you can choose to store it on more of a private vault, or even on your home server. That way other people can't get at that data, right? So here's an example, right? So if you were building an e-commerce website, you could potentially even just build an e-commerce website where the purchase history is stored on your own computer, and then only a hash is stored on, say, the blockchain and on the e-commerce website. So, I mean, it's a big step. I mean, you could, as an e-commerce website, would you actually be willing to give up this order history data of like completed orders for the sake of protecting your customers' data? And that's an option, right? I mean, maybe there are people that care about that. They don't want their order history floating around. Because I mean, if you went to shop at some sort of Amazon type website, e-commerce website, and you bought a bunch of things, and then you stopped using them, then you start using other websites, but there's all this order history. Like, how do you know that they're not selling that order history to somebody, to Google or someone? Because that order history is really important, because that basically shows what you bought, how much you spend, what items you like, and things like that, right? That really, I mean, what's stopping these websites from sharing all that data and selling that data? So maybe perhaps it's better to try to keep that data private as much as possible. So I'll stop you there. I think that's the main thing I want to talk about is these try to think in a decentralized world. Blockchain gave us the ability to sort of own your own money, right? Own your own funds through unhosted wallets that we now run. And it's pretty commonplace. So instead of us putting our money at the banks, we can keep it in our own wallets. When we buy things on the decentralized web using dApps or things like that, the banks and the credit agencies and Google is not really seeing it, right? And that's kind of cool. I mean, we finally can take back a bit of our financial sensitive data. And now the question is, how do we take back sort of all the rest of the data?
Hey, thanks, Clarence.
Yeah.
So here Darnell is asking, I would like to participate in the DAO. What is the first step for him?
Really, you guys just have to join the Telegram and
Yeah.
get involved. I mean, that's probably where you start. Learn about the project, learn about the DAO, and we have elections coming up, I think in June or July. And so we'll have a new council that gets a vote on proposals. We'd love to see, more people or diverse people try to be on that council.
Awesome. So speaking of those cookie sharing bit that you were talking about, Apple versus Google, I think that happens a lot, and I've had people come to me, and we have discussions around. They start talking about something on their phone, and then just the recording, the mic bit, and then they see within a couple of days those ads on Instagram. I'm like, that's very scary and I mean, I would say like for Apple users, that's probably not the truth, but like for Android users, it's more often than not they've had this experience. It's very, very scary. So
Yeah.
I mean, if the data mining has gone that deep, we should be worried about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it disturbs some people, but doesn't disturb other people. It really comes down to how you perceive it. I mean, some people actually like it. I mean, the fact that it kind of Google knows you better than you know yourself.
Yeah.
It can't be taken two ways. But I really feel like it would be nice to have sort of AI. So I think Amy Peck, she's the vice president of HTC, and she said that if one day we actually create the next unicorn app will be an AI that can sort of digest all of this data that you create. Because one of the biggest hurdles here is like when I come out here and say, oh, we should own our own data, we should like make things more private and more anonymous and things like that. But people sort of fail to realize how difficult that is because we generate a ton of data, right? More than you think. We probably generate gigabytes of data per day just by going on the web and browsing and things like that. So that's a lot of data for no one person could possibly manage all that data and actually monetize it because it's just so much data. And so what we'll probably need eventually is sort of an AI that can sort of, I would say appraise is a real word, is to ingest all that data, appraise it, tell you how much worth, and it'll give you simple choices, right? So then you could decide, hey, do I want to share this about me? Do I want to share this about me? Maybe I don't want to share this about me. For example, if I'm shopping for a ring for my fiance, or my girlfriend, I don't want Google to know about it. I don't want ads showing like diamond rings, and my girlfriend goes into the computer and be like, what's going on? Why am I seeing all these diamond ads, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what you don't want to share. So if the AI could crunch all that data and say, okay, if you're looking for a car, yeah, you can share that. And then here's the other thing too. When the AI shares the data about you looking at cars, AI should be smart enough to say, hey, if you go through and click on an ad and you buy a car and Google makes like $500 because of that data, I mean, you should get a little bit of it, right? I mean, we can maybe track that data. That's what blockchain is great, because blockchain, we've seen actually this bunch of projects, even I was trying to work on this, is if we get all the websites to play nice and actually attribute your activity to like a sale and conversion, maybe we could have some sort of claim on that, right? Right now, Google is just saying we don't have to pay you because we don't have to, right? We just took your data and sold it, and you bought a car and we made a ton of money off these clicks, but we don't care. So I mean, we really have to fight back a bit. So if we start taking back all our data and saying we'll share it only if you pay us, that might be better, right?
Yeah.
But this will take a lot of work. It's not easy to ingest all that data and things like that. But like I think that example resonates probably, right? You want to be able to control kind of data like that, because that could be bad, right? So that's kind of where we hopefully can see some sort of magical AI that can do that for you.
Yeah, that would be nice for sure. Last time, Clarence, we had the DID project was still in beta. So what's the stage it is in now?
Yeah, I'll share a little bit, because we actually have a basically a news article. Sorry, one second.
No worries, no worries.
So my wife running off to work. So basically, so where was I?
Yeah, DID.
Oh yeah, DID is right. So basically, our project right now is kind of going through a bit of a change. So we actually have I think an announcement coming out today. I think so, today or tomorrow actually. And so DIDs have going through a major overhaul. A lot of things are going over a major overhaul. I mean, blockchain moves very fast, right? So I think DIDs are moving to, or actually people call them DIDs now. But so DIDs are now moving towards a DPoS structure, so it'll be much faster, the blockchain. A lot of our apps will become more SDK based, so we'll see more standalone apps. Like people have been saying that maybe it's actually also better because there's certain limitations. For example, in iOS, we originally we wanted some sort of app store type system, where the wrapper, which is our Elastos app, which you can download right now, is the wrapper around many apps. But instead, Apple doesn't really like that, so we decided, okay, it's probably better to actually just have standalone apps, and you just basically developers build their own standalone apps, and we just provide the SDKs to build on that. So that's kind of what we'll see in the future more. So just SDKs. It's like we're working there's a JavaScript SDK that I'm really hoping it comes out soon for DIDs basically. So that'll allow you to hook your new React web app directly to DIDs. So things like that.
Nice, awesome. Yes, Clarence, just my last question would be, so you participated in our last hackathon also, and you're participating again. What advice do you have for developers from your experience from the past hackathon? What would you advise them, people who are developers who are building on Elastos?
Let's see. I would say use Carrier. I think people like the peer-to-peer more. You're seeing like with the not it's a bit ago, but WhatsApp changing their policies, and a lot of governments now asking for more backdoors and encryption channels. I mean, this is something that I think it's really going to become a hot topic soon. There's new acts like the Earn It Act in the U.S. that kind of are trying to clamp down on privacy. I mean, I understand where they're coming from, is obviously for law enforcement and things like that. You do want to have backdoors. You don't want sort of the bad guys being able to share data without getting away with it. But on the other hand, you want your privacy, right? So where's the compromise? Where's that balance, right? Carrier kind of helps. So maybe if someone could develop a carriers are peer-to-peer network. So if someone could build sort of a cool end-to-end messenger that has, perhaps maybe we do need like a backdoor. But that's kind of where I see that as a hot topic coming up.
Yeah.
In the near future.
Awesome. Is there anything you're looking in particular in the winners, like just so that they know like what Elastos is looking for, or is it just like open for any themes, any kind of whatever? They just
it's open. I don't want to shoehorn anyone into a certain project. I mean, we're a pretty generalized system too. I mean, we have the smart contract chain, which is basically an EVM chain. So you would hook your Ethereum sort of dApps directly to it the same way as anything, right? So that's not very different.
Perfect. Yeah. Thanks, Clarence. Thank you for taking all the time, and I will keep you in the loop with all the projects and submissions and everything.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.